Facebook having issues? I don't know. Well, we are live, and if we're not live on Facebook, we are live on other social media platforms. With me, we are live from Radio Row. I have with us Darren Hughes, who is the Chiefs Network color analyst. And Darren, I know this hasn't gotten old to you. 3 Super Bowls in the last 4 years. It hasn't gotten old for me. It's gotten expensive, but it hasn't gotten old. Well, first of all, congratulations. I know you along with Mitch and Matt, bring the viewers in, from a radio perspective to the games. How's Super Bowl week been for you?
So far, so good, man. It's I always try to get here even when the Chiefs are not here because there's so much going on, so many opportunities to network, reconnect with either former teammates or former opponents. And there's so much, agents are here, advisors are here. So, I get a chance to kind of do some work, my bank work, that I'm in the home mortgage business, and I've been so for 20 years, and I'm with Central Bank of the Midwest, so I get to kind of handle some of that business here and open up some new doors and opportunities with that, and then I get to put the cap on and go to the sports side. So it's a great blended trip for me, and obviously it makes it even more special when the Chiefs are here. Like, I'm spoiled, man. I've been calling the Chiefs games for 3 years, and I've been to 2 Super Bowls, so I don't know the difference.
Yeah, that part is true. So, look, allow the audience to come onto your side. Give them an idea of what Super Bowl week is like for you on the radio side as you prepare for kickoff.
So, there's obviously a lot of information. You got a whole season of information that you're trying to bring forth in a pregame show or during the broadcast. And so you're absorbing a lot of information. And because there's only 2 teams left in this, there's a bevy of information that's out there. Every media outlet, obviously, as we can know here and we see here, is dialed into the Chiefs and the Eagles. So I try not to get information overload, because in the end, my job as the color analyst is to paint the picture of what's happening on the field. And in the pregame shows, I can kind of stir some other stuff up, but I got to stay in my lane. So I try not to get too involved in all of this and too engulfed in everything and all the information that's out there.
Let Mitch do all the homework.
Yeah. And I just call the action. I mean, Mitch and I, we have a great synergy. We have, we complement each other really well. His energy and my kind of even-keeled approach, I think it works well. Let's face it, if I had as much energy as he had, like, we'd be tearing up that booth. We'd be computers would be all over the place. We'd sound like a bunch of screaming maniacs if both of us had that same kind of approach. So I feel like we've found our lane. We found it pretty early, and it also helps that we have some special football that we're calling, and winning football always cures a lot. So it's been a blessing working with him and Dan Israel and Josh Klingler and the rest of the team. It's been a blessing.
You and I, look, we've had this discussion on the Red Hour and our pregame show stuff, and we obviously, you were calling the games, and I cover the game each week, home and on the road, along with you. At the beginning of the season, and I know we generally make our predictions on our Red Hour show. Did you see Kansas City getting back to this exact point?
Yes, I did. Okay.
I did too, of course. You know that.
Yeah, when you have the best player in the game, you always have a chance to get here. And then when you couple that with who I believe is the best coach in the game right now, and Andy Reid, to me, the expectations have been set at this height, and anything less would be disappointing. Now, I played in the years in the 90s when we would have dreamt just to get to this point, and we couldn't get over the hump in the playoffs. So we got to recognize how special this time is. And let's face it, all of the negative approach to the Chiefs and the prognosticators, et cetera, were all hinging their thoughts about the Chiefs based on us losing Tyreek Hill. And it's not a knock to Tyreek Hill. To me, he's the most special football talent that I've seen ever in person. That's me.
You've seen Randy Moss. Don't be disrespectful to Randy. He was 6'4", running a 4.2 now. Come on now.
So, okay, there are a lot of 6'4" guys. There are a lot of 4.2 guys. Now,
not at that combination.
But
not at that combination.
So, I mean, we could have a whole different argument.
We could.
Because 6, you trying to tell me it's more special to see a guy that's physically taller and faster than everybody that should do what he did versus a guy that's 5'9" and 185 pounds soaking wet, embarrassing people. Like Randy made people look bad. Tyreek embarrassed people, like made them stand around like you was when you
There's
have a
arguments
kid.
and discussion we can have on that a later time, but yeah.
So that's my point is that
and Tyreek was great.
Yeah, and everything was hinging on, you lost Tyreek. So you had the Bart Scotts that said we would be not in the playoffs. You had the Mike Greenbergs that said we weren't going to beat the Bills or get to this point. You had so many other so-called professionals say that this Chiefs team was going to be the bottom tier of the AFC West and not make the playoffs. And to me, I thought it was a slap in the face because we still have Patrick Mahomes, we still have Travis Kelce, and we still have great coaching. So to answer your question, I'm not surprised because this is what we've started. This is kind of the lay of the land that we have in Kansas City now. So to me, even though next week everybody's going to start talking about Justin Herbert, everybody's going to start talking about Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, and next thing you know, we'll be picked 5th in the AFC West with only 4
Josh
teams.
Allen, MVP, Super Bowl,
exactly.
Buffalo.
And you get tired of that, and we'll be ready to go.
It's funny. I tell people all the time that, when it comes, it's easy. You know, our good friend Jeff Chadia from the NFL Network. Now he likes to mess me call me a homo, and Rob Parker does. But I'm like, well, first of all, we have the best player in my opinion, as you said, and every year they've gone at worst to the NFC Championship game. Well, why would I not pick them to win until said, it's not about being a homer, but like they're the best team.
Yeah,
and so I always get baffled by I don't have to be a homer to pick them if I haven't seen been able to prove like they've played more games over the last 5 seasons than any other team in the league.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for that because they've been better than everyone, and so did it?
I wonder if people on that note, like when Joe Montana had the reign with Roger Craig and all Jerry Rice.
That's the Cowboys, that 4-year run between 91 and 96 or whatever.
But I mean, okay, so you had the Cowboys and you had the Niners. Yeah. Was anybody a homer by picking one of those 2 teams back then? No, probably not, because like you said, they were the best team and they likely had the best player, right?
Yeah.
So like, why can't we transfer that thought now? Because it's Patrick Mahomes. We have the best talent. We have the best player. We have the best coach, just like those teams in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. And even New England. I mean, hell, you talk about Brady's been to 10 Super Bowls over a 23-year period. I mean, nobody had problems picking them to win the AFC East every year they basically only had to win, essentially damn near one game, because they had a bye. They easily get to the AFC Championship game, and it was just a matter of if they just win and get Super Bowl.
Well, they technically had about 6 byes because the AFC East was terrible, and they could just walk through the AFC East and get, like you said, one game basically from the promised land. So, yeah, I find it interesting that, like, we recognizing all that we just said, and we're picking the Chiefs, and heck, I'm picking the Chiefs again next year.
Right.
Until somebody else proves me wrong, and that doesn't make me a homer. It doesn't make me, because I'm on the broadcast, that I am biased. It's just common sense to me. And anybody who would pick against a team that hosted 5 straight AFC championships, to me, you are biased against them.
Right.
And because your common sense is not really taking over.
How much do you think prior to the season beginning that all the talk of Josh Allen winning the MVP and Buffalo Bills, odds-on favorite in Vegas to win the Super Bowl, kind of motivated this team? Granted, there's a lot that they won't say that's in the media, but you might be able to, hear some stuff to where it's a motivating factor. Now, I do know that the loss to Cincinnati was a huge motivating factor along, and I know more, and to me, I know it added to the motivation from the prior year before, because Brett Veach remade that whole team, especially the offensive line, with the point of going back to the Super Bowl last year to kind of right the wrongs of 2 years ago. And when that didn't happen, now you got additional pressure to try to get back to make sure that you're still kind of the king of the hill or whatever, and get back past Cincinnati once again to get back to the stage. How much a motivating factor do you think that played?
So I feel like, yeah, there was definitely a motivating factor in the Cincinnati loss, but I feel like even more so than maybe the talk about Justin Herbert and Josh Allen and those was more about the fact that we beat ourselves against the Cincinnati Bengals. And that's not a slam to them. I mean, when you're up 18 points and you're about to go into the locker room and you can score another touchdown, and then having probably the worst half of football that Patrick Mahomes has ever had in his career, and them still having an opportunity on 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line to basically put the game away again late in the game, to me, like, that's a loss. That's us losing. It's not necessarily them winning.
Yep.
And so that's a motivating factor, because to think that you're that close away from going to 3 straight Super Bowls, having the redemption opportunity after losing to the Buccaneers, like, that's incentive enough. Now you start, as the season unfolds, you start adding on the trash talk and all the pundits and all the predictions, and
it makes the season longer, because instead of you going back to Super Bowl perhaps winning and enjoying, future labor, you got to take that L, take it all the way to the offseason, do all the grinding, the OTAs, the rookie mini camp, the mini camp, the mandatory camps, and then preseason. And
it weighs on you. And to me, that's where the leadership, like, we should give a lot of credit to the leadership of this team, because you can go one of 2 ways after losing to the Bengals like we did in the AFC Championship. We've seen that, where teams have gone downhill severely. Look at the Buffalo Bills after their 4-year run. Look at the Rams, going back to the 90s and the Rams thereafter. Like, there are multiple teams. For every one of the Chiefs type of teams, there's probably 4 NFL other teams that went the opposite way after losing in a devastating fashion in the playoffs. So to me, like, it's something special to have the leadership in Brett Veach, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, Steve Spagnuolo, to be able to get these guys still back dialed in, not feeling bad for themselves, and then to get to this accomplishment at 14-3 during the regular season.
What kind of job, or how good of a job? Because I know we've talked, but the job that Spags has done over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, it's amazing. So here's the thing. When Spags came here, if you look at his resume and maybe the scouting report on him, was he loves veterans. He loves to play the veterans. Sometimes to his detriment, not allowing some of the youth to come in past places where he coached. And to embrace what he's embraced this year, and to get the production that he's gotten from the young guys, like, he had to go outside of himself.
He did that his first year, because Juan Thornton, I think, was the first rookie to ever start for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So to have that, and that probably was tough for him to have to digest at that point. And then now you're saying, okay, Joshua Williams, go out there and do your thing. Jalen Watson, Leo Chanel, George Karlaftis, Brian Cook. Like, we got a safety go down. Brian Cook, now you're part of this package. To me, that's one of the side stories that made this season so special, is that it's not so much about the players staying dialed in and not feeling bad for themselves after last year's loss to the Bengals, but the coaches recognizing, hey, we might have to do something different. We need some speed on the field.
Yeah.
So now, Nick Bolton, in your second year, you got the green dot, and you're not coming off the field 100% of the plays until you tap out. You're on the field. Willie Gay Jr. Yeah, we know you got tagged early in your career as a guy that just ran wild and was fast and didn't have the instincts, but now you're going to figure it out on the field, not on the sideline watching other guys. And then to see the emergence of the rookies and how the veterans like Frank Clark grabbed onto these guys. It's like, I think it's so special about this defense. Yeah, they're not gangbusters. They're ranked, lower than the Eagles and most of the teams we've played, but there's still a special story in how they've been able to kind of be assembled and grow. They're not rookies anymore. They're first-year guys, and we're dependent on them. Like, It's not just about roles. Like, we're dependent on these rookies / first-year guys to go out and play dominating football, and they've lived up to it.
And the great part about it is, look, the team has been dependent on Patrick for years, and literally the last 2 games, it's been the rookies that have that have been, essentially a saving grace with this team getting back to the Super Bowl.
Yep. How much Maylocks or Tums has Steve Spagnuolo had to take this year?
Or composure.
in order to get settled into the fact that, okay, I've done this. I've had this storied career with great defenses and Super Bowl appearances, et cetera. And now I got to go outside of myself and get a bunch of rookies to play at a veteran clip. And accomplishing that, like, to me, it's been amazing.
Before we get you out of here, we both know we both going for the Kansas City to win this game Sunday. But how do you foresee it playing out? Do you feel like Kansas City has to get to the 30s to win this ball game, or can they win a tough 21-20?
Well, I don't put anything past the Chiefs. They could win a 17-14 game. I feel like it's going to be a 33-24 game. Chiefs win.
How much?
33-24.
Okay.
So I feel like it will be outside of one possession. And part of the reason why I believe, or part of the keys, and I give out the keys to victory before every game on the broadcast. One of my keys this week is forcing Jalen Hurts to go throw for throw, blow for blow with Patrick Mahomes. And the one way you do that is not scoring first, it's scoring second. Getting to 14. Chiefs can get to 14 in the first 3 possessions. Now you almost take Nick Sirianni and the Eagles out of their game plan. And taking them out of their game plan will put the ball more in Jalen Hurts' hands to try to throw them quicker scores. And I think that plays right into our hands. Them getting away from the run game as early as possible, that's kind of been the recipe for success. If you look through the course of time over Patrick Mahomes' tenure, the teams that have beaten him, for the most part, outside of the Bills and the Bengals, the teams that have beaten him have been the teams that stayed dedicated to the run. And like you have the opposite where like the Ravens lost to him because they tried to ask Lamar Jackson to throw the ball 50 times and he lost. You see other teams, the Houston Texans, you tried to have the quarterback throw the ball and go throw for throw with Patrick Mahomes and you lost. The teams that have stuck to their game plan as far as the run game, even this run, you look in the playoffs, the Jaguars. There's no way in the world they should have put the weight on the shoulders of Trevor Lawrence to go throw for throw against Patrick Mahomes with Etienne Jr. The Bengals came in, solid run game. Yes, Joe Burrow is great, but they ran the ball, I believe, 15 times. The running back ran it 15 times in that game between Mixon and P-Ron. Like, that's not going to work on a consistent basis against Patrick Mahomes. So I feel like 33-24 is reasonable, but I would not put it past them that they could win a one-score game by a field goal of 4 points.
Yeah, the thing that makes me nervous about the Chiefs is we always talk about they play down or to the level of the competition. Obviously, to me, they're going to have to score because I think essentially what you're talking about, they're going to have to run the football to try to keep Patrick on the sideline. The key for the Chiefs is if they do that, you know that you have to possibly score. Well, I don't want to say score quickly, but if they're going to keep you on the sidelines, then I think you should be trying to eat up the clock as well.
Yeah.
Keep them on the side because, one, you want to help your defense out.
Yeah.
And that's, that was the thing that killed me against Cincinnati. They get the interception with a little bit more than 3 minutes to go in the first half. Instead, you run the football, you get to the 2-minute warning, and an incomplete. I'm like, what in the world is going on down there? Yeah. And then you come out to half, the same thing. I'm like, are you like, what? So that's what makes me nervous. That's what makes me, want to grab some pills or something in the press box. Like, come on, where I'm hoping I don't have no heartache or whatever because of that. But
I think teams get, and I always say this, Darren, there comes a time in the game, usually at least once, sometimes a couple of times, where teams start to try to win or stop trying to win and try not to lose.
Right.
And I think the reverse has been the effect of the Chiefs. When you look at last year's loss against the Bengals, this game against the Bengals in the NFC Championship, where like conventional thought is run the ball, run the clock, don't give them multiple opportunities, keep your foot on the gas pedal, and impose with the run game. But I feel like there's also the recognition of, hey, we got this greatest player in the league, Patrick Mahomes, and let him do his magic during these times. And it works at times, and then it doesn't work sometimes. And so there's got to be that balance in there to where you balance the common sense factor versus the abilities of Patrick Mahomes and what he can do with this offense.
Before we get out of here, man, your thoughts, Eric Bieniemy, going to get a head coaching gig? I know there's talk about him taking a possible lateral move somewhere. I don't really like that too much.
I think it would be sad. I think to me it's been one of the worst stories in the NFL each season over the last 3 years. The fact that he has not gotten a chance, when you see some of the retreads and the newbies that have gotten chances around the league, and there's never been a leader of an offense or a leader of a defense, no matter who or how good the quarterback is. You've never seen this where a guy that's been that leader in that OC or DC position had not gotten a head coaching job. And the fact that all the excuses or whatever you want to throw out there, the reasons that he hasn't gotten it, to me, is a bunch of BS. He should have an opportunity. And if he doesn't now, I don't know what else he has to prove. You go to a different place, you go to the Ravens. I mean, you go anywhere and show that you can, be a great OC there. Like, to me, it's a travesty. And so to answer your question, I feel like he'll get his shot this year. And if not, I just feel terrible for the league.
Dana, appreciate your time as always,
No
brother.
problem, brother.
And look forward to hearing you call. We'll talk to you Sunday, obviously, from the stadium as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back in a quick moment. We'll be joined by Jamal Hill, UFC light heavyweight champion, joining us in just a moment.
Are you hosting a Super Bowl party and want to elevate your guest experience? Paige White at KC Cocktail Company is doing a cocktail drop-off giveaway to one lucky individual. KC Cocktail Company specializes in creating beautiful, delicious craft cocktails, and Paige's promotion includes 75 servings valued at $300. You can choose from 1 or 2 different craft recipes. And also included in this package, Paige provides the cups, napkins, straws, cocktail setup with jugs for cocktails, and garnishes to complement the craft cocktails. To enter to win, check out her website at www.kccocktailco.com and sign up for the promotion. You will be entered to win, and the winner will be announced on February 10th. Everyone who enters the contest will receive a 10% discount on a cocktail drop-off package of your choice. Contact Paige and KC Cocktail Company directly to learn more. Don't wait until the last minute. Reserve your cocktail drop-off today. Their number is 816-456-4388, and the email is hello@kccocktailco.com. Don't miss out on this chance to elevate your party to the next level.
We go. All right, we are back here live on Radio Row. Thanks once again to Dana Hughes. And with me, we have a very special guest, Jamal Hill, the UFC light heavyweight champion on Radio Row. Now, for our audience, I'm at the oh God,
it's got some weight to it.
It's got some weight to it. I'm gonna remove this so people can see it. But first things first, man. What brings you to Radio Row? And thank you so much for joining me today.
I just came out here to check out the vibes, talk to some, have some conversations, and just kick it with the people and the fans.
You a big fan of football?
I am.
Who you got in this weekend's game and why?
I think I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I got the Eagles
just because we about to be over quick.
Oh shit, that's right. This is the
look at you.
We live.
Yeah, we live. It's all good.
So like, I mean, look, it's the reason why. One, they're healthier. The Chiefs have had a lot of injuries, and two, I feel like from what I've seen, from what we've seen this season, the Eagles are a more well-rounded team.
Who was your preseason Super Bowl pick? Did you see both of these teams coming when the season started, or did you think Chiefs might make it but didn't know who their opponent was going to be, or vice versa?
My preseason pick was the Lions.
The what?
The Lions.
You from Chicago, and you chose the Detroit Lions.
I grew up in Grand Michigan.
Okay. Okay. But the Lions?
The Lions. Look, we coming, man. You see what we was doing at the end of the year.
Hey. They did come up. Dan Campbell's done a good job with that team, especially the turnaround. I mean, it's interesting because the first game was against the Eagles. They lost 37-34. But I mean, but that was a different
35.
type of 35. I apologize.
38, I think.
Yeah, 30. I know it was a 3-point loss. When you look at the Eagles, what make them so special?
Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts makes them really special. And then not only that, they've even ever since they won the last Super Bowl, they've built a very good culture of controlling the line of scrimmage on defense and offense. I think that's something that really gives them an edge too.
Now you have a 7-1 record in the UFC, and you were the first UFC champion signed from Dana White's Contender Series. What's that? How has your life changed since being with the UFC?
It's changed drastically. I'm able to provide for my family. I'm able to follow my dreams and be able to go and accomplish goals and work for things that, while I do them, show inspiration to others behind me. Somebody that may just be like, all right, I want to play it safe here, or I'm just gonna perform this. Maybe I'm not good enough to do this. Nah, my message is go out and whatever you want out of life, go get it. Go fight for it, go scrape for it, go strive for it. Because you only have one life.
It's our first time meeting one another. I have not had a chance to watch Contender Series. I used to watch The Ultimate Fighter for a number of years, and then started covering the NFL. And it's like this time gets away from me. Give me and allow my audience into who is Jamal Hill.
I'm a father. I'm a brother. I'm a student. You know what I mean? I'm just me. I'm real. I'm authentic. I'm a nice person. I'm respectful, and I just want to see everybody win. The biggest thing about me is I want to leave the world better than I found it. I want to leave the world and people I come in contact with something better than where I found them at. And, that's just like my biggest thing.
Well, when I ask you that, again, you say you grew up in Grand Rapids, but how did your life lead you to where you are today? What was the path that got you here?
The path that got me here was just.
I ain't trying to sit you on the couch and nothing like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
Did you have an athletic background, and did you,
Yeah. I had athletic background. I had an athletic background. I was always an athlete. I always wanted to be an athlete. I was always into martial arts and things like that. And I knew I was going to be a professional athlete. Whatever the sport was, whatever I stuck with, I knew I wanted to go towards. And I wanted to be a champion. And I wanted to be considered one of the best in that. What mainly led me towards more martial arts and fighting was the fact that a fight is all on you, right? You control your destiny in a fight, and that's what more appealed to me.
Was boxing ever an avenue for you, or was your interest always just mixed martial arts?
I trained in boxing, but I never it wasn't my. It was never really my dream to be a boxer. Just because. Just what you had to go, just because of the what it takes to be a boxer, to become like a boxer, a big name and things like that in boxing. Most of these guys, they grow up in the Olympics and things like that. I didn't. Then they have to go through about 20 years, 20, 30 fights, undefeated, knocking dudes out, and I didn't feel like I had time like that. So, it was just.
What's been your best experience thus far being the UFC light heavyweight champion?
Best experiences. I mean, I just got it like 2 weeks ago. So,
I said you walk around with this. People look at you a little bit differently,
right? Just the love, and just the different appreciation. The biggest things for me has been the biggest thing, the biggest thing and the best thing and best feeling for me I've gotten is people coming and letting me know that watching me achieve my dreams, what it has done for them, how it made them feel, what I was able to give in that moment. Just even though I was selfishly pursuing something, it meant something to other people other than myself.
And glad you said it now, because you mentioned you were a father. When you had that fight, Daddy came home with this belt. What did the family say? How did they feel? Because they
were happy. They like it. Like my son,
he likes posing.
He could barely hold it. He could barely hold it, and things like that. But for the most part, honestly, they really don't care. They care about their dad. My daughter was more so about, your face, things like that. They just want to make sure I'm all right and I'm good. And yeah.
Your opinion, your best fight you think you've had thus far and your best knockout?
The best fight as far as performance and executing game plan will probably be the last fight, the Glover Teixeira fight. And best knockout probably Johnny Walker fight, just because that's the most memorable one for the fans and things.
Okay. since you got the Eagles, I'm still a little salty about that. You got the Eagles. You're on social media, man. How can people find out and how can people follow you and learn more about you?
Well, just to elaborate on the pick, if anybody who I feel like didn't have a better team, is not going in injured and with a team with not the better team that can win, it's Patrick Mahomes.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's Patrick Mahomes. Anybody can go out there and get it done, and I wouldn't be one bit surprised.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be one bit surprised if the Chiefs showed up as full potential and put it on them. Like, it wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be surprising because honestly, I didn't have y'all beating the Bengals.
It's a lot of people did.
You know what I mean? So
now you look. That's for a lot of people. I did, but a lot of people.
Yeah, of course,
did.
you got to stay solid. Just like I had the Lions winning the Super Bowl, going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl this year.
You didn't put money on it though, did you? Oh, I forgot that.
Of course not.
Yeah, of course
not.
Yeah. So what's the rest of this week look like for you?
I got traveling. I got some more traveling to do. A couple more cities and some more media.
Man, first of all, brother, congratulations to you, man. I'm glad that you were able to accomplish your dreams, and your dreams is going to continue to just get better and better. So, now that you got this, now you thought the hard work came getting it. Now the hard work is going to be keeping it. So,
nah. I already know. I already know what time it is.
Oh man, I can't wait,
brother.
I can't wait to watch you perform again.
I can't wait to put on the show for you.
Oh man, hey, Jamal Hill, make sure you follow him. Let people know where they can find you out on social media.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm active. Sweet_dreams_J Hill. You can look up my tag on Instagram and on Twitter. There's Jamal H. My name JAMAHAL, just a H at the end. Yeah, check me out there. I'm pretty active on there, and I stay tapped in. I try to put out some content where keep people laughing, keep people happy all the time.
All right, man. Hey, man, I appreciate your time, man, and thank you so very much, and congratulations to you once again. It's a beautiful belt, ladies and gentlemen. Jamal Hill, the UFC light heavyweight champion, joining us on the show.